In this video, we're going to have a look at how to create a custom field type. In this demo, I want to actually create a field type which is a copy from the general link, but I want to support new types of general links. So I want to support the idea of adding a phone number or a fax. So what I want to have is I want my content editors to be able to add their own fax numbers or content numbers or telephone numbers directly, and I want the system to actually convert it into telephone and the number like here so that it can open with your default calling app. Now, let's go back to how this is done. I want to also support it from within the content editor. So I wanted it from the experience editor and content editor. So I'll just show it here and I'll open it in experience editor as well to show it. So as you can see here, I have insert telephone link, insert fax link, and as soon as I click it, it actually shows me link description and telephone number. And here the telephone number, once you click on OK, is actually converted into tel, colon, and the telephone number. And I can do the same thing from experience editor. So if I go to experience editor and click on my fax number, for example, click on the link, as you can see, the same idea exactly. From a backend perspective or from a Sitecore perspective, this is pretty easy. I didn't need to do a lot, but from the coding perspective is where you're gonna probably need to disassemble some of the Sitecore DLLs to see how it's being done and copy it and paste it. There is also in Habitat an example for extending the link, which is quite nice. Unfortunately, it's not supporting both experience editor and content editor. This is why I wanted to create my own one. The second thing I wanted to do is actually I didn't want to override the default general link within Sitecore. I wanted to create my own. So I went into the core database and then within system field types, custom fields, I copied the general link and added to it a copy of external link as fax link and telephone link. And this copy, which has a telephone link, I just changed its display name to insert telephone link, and I changed the message to be content link, colon, telephone link. And same thing for fax link, I changed it to content link, colon, fax link. So that's all you need to do in Sitecore. Once you're done with Sitecore is where the fun begins, because we start going into the code. Okay, so the code, what we ultimately need to do is a couple of things. We want to create the speak form, the form itself, the XML for the form for both the content editor view and the experience editor view. And we want to actually create the render communication link, which is the class that will render the fields. And we want to create the forms, which is the code beside for our link. We want to create the web edit, and we want to create the actual link. Since I'm not changing the link itself, I'm creating my own one. So we needed to add that as well. So as you can see, the communication edit link is my web edit. So it inherits from my web edit link command, and the general link with communication inherits from the link base. Okay, let's go back to my configuration. So the first thing I need to do is actually add my processors or my pipeline. So I've added a pipeline for render field, and I just added it after the get internal link field value in the kernel, and it's my render communication link class that we're going to talk about. Next thing I added was the commands as we've seen. So I created a communication edit link, which is my edit command. And finally, I had to add my control sources, which is within the namespace and for a prefix of custom comp. Now, let's go back and start seeing what we've written in the code itself. Again, just to guide you on how to do that, because it's a bit complex, my best recommendation is start off with what Habitat has already created for you. So Habitat has the external general link or extended general link, which has pretty much the same stuff I've done, but here, as I said, they've only supported one of the two, experience editor or content editor. Here I'm supporting both. So the first thing I need to do is add my dialog. So I created a fax link dialog. It's the XML. So again, it's XML just called fax link form. And then the code beside for it is for general link with communication fax link form, which we're going to see, and then I just put my grid customization to allow for my link. Okay, let's see the fax link form, which is actually in the general link with communication form. Fax link form, again, I just copied and pasted what they've done in Habitat here for my own link type. What I've done here is I set the attribute of link type to fax. One other thing I found useful to do is actually add a speak communication link. And again, this is another communication link, so I created it. I just copied and pasted the original one from Sitecore and copied the style sheet, the scripts, and added my form dialog grid panel. And as you can see, it already has the media link, external link, so I added my telephone link and fax link with the on mode change, passing in the fax, and all the rest is the same as what I've copied from the external link. Of course, this has a code beside as well, and within that code beside, what I've done is on OK, I've edited it to have case of fax. I changed the flag to set fax link attribute, which is again my custom function, which is really just setting the different attributes that I have here. Now let's go into the actual rendering. So render communication link. As you can see, it's the same exact thing that's there in Habitat. I just copied and pasted it. So it has the render link function, which takes in the value and checks all the different information for it. Then I have the general link with communication. Again, it's a copy and paste. It's just copying and pasting the items. And the web edit link form, which is just the same web edit link form that I've added from the default Sitecore. So as you can see, it's quite easy once you know how to do it. So again, let's go back to what we need to do. So as we discussed, we need to create two speak forms, one for the content editor, one for the experience editor, and we need to actually create the pipeline for it, for the rendering field and the command for it, as well as the control source. So there I have it. This is how to create or edit the general link field and create a new one which supports different types of communication.